Hey guys, good morning. Today's Tuesday here in Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. So we're gonna have another episode of the Tales of Foundation Repair. So today we're gonna be doing a small job. It's gonna be 7 hybrid piers in Denton. This house is not too bad, but I think like the slope and the aging of the house has caused the foundation issues they're experiencing. So let's walk around the job site. So this is the area where we're gonna install the 7 piers. This corner has dropped about 1.5 inches more or less, and the rest of the house is pretty even. So we're gonna start digging and I'll show you the progress down the road. So it's very common that when the houses have the gutter, the downspout just draining the water next to the foundation, and here we can see the drop that we have. So it's probably about 4 feet of drop from there to there. So what happens is that the gutter starts washing the soil away from the house. So the foundation is probably just like 24 inches deep. So as the gutter washes the soil away, as it causes erosion, the house loses support and it drops down. So that's what I believe caused the issue in here. Hey guys, so we are halfway through these holes to start installing the hybrid piers. So my prediction was accurate. So the soil is kind of sandy. In all this Denton area, the soil is like this, it's kind of sandy. So it was really soft on the top. But right now, as I reach the bottom of the slab, that's the grade beam. So right there, the soil starts getting like more rocky. It's full of rocks and it's really hard. So we're gonna be using the chipping hammers to go through the soil faster. And then we're gonna start installing the piers, see how far we need to go with the steel pipe to reach the load-bearing strata. Okay guys, so before we proceed to continue digging that hole, I'm gonna show you what I was talking about, the erosion. So you can see here, like normally you like the dirt to be all the way here and just have about 5 or 6 inches visible of your concrete beam right below your brick veneer. But in here you can see how down it is. So that's happening because, like I said, the rain washes away the soil, which is erosion. And because the house is like on top of a hill, which is like 4 feet higher than the neighbor, so that has been causing the house to drop down towards this side. Here's a way better example. So wow, this is crazy. Take a look at this. So all the water from the gutter is coming down here, and you can see how it's been digging. Like, look at how deep it is. It's a good 10 inches. This 10 inches hole has been made by the water coming out of the gutter. So when that's happening, all the soil is being washed away, so you have a bunch of foundation problems. The solution for this is, of course, always make sure you have a good grading. If you're having erosion, you have to add more soil again. And the gutters, you just have to plug an extension to the downspout. So if you run an extension, probably like 5 feet all the way here, the erosion is not going to happen there. It's going to start in here, which is already on the slope where the water is going to drain to the street. So that will solve all of the issues related because of the improper drainage. Hey guys, so it's 9 a.m. and we all are finishing our first hole. So we pretty much had to dig one each of us, and this is how the holes look before we install the pier. So we have about 42 inches from the ground all the way to the bottom of the grade beam, and we're just going to start installing the steel pipe here using the weight of the house. So we're going to bring our hydraulic pump. Okay guys, so we're gonna unload from the truck the hydraulic pump. This hydraulic pump is 10,000 rated PSI, and we have the gauge and everything. It's from the brand Power Team, and we're gonna start installing the piers. So we're gonna push them down with the ram to reach the load-bearing strata. Okay guys, so we're gonna start installing the piers, and this is the process. So before we start, we have to make sure that we have everything we need. So rather we have our hydraulic pump is already plugged into the current, then we have our steel pipes and some cylinders. These are hybrid pier. So first we're gonna see how far down we can go. Usually we go as far as we can go with the steel pipe, and then we just use 1 or 2 cylinders on top. So the reason why we go with the steel pipe, it's because the concrete pier is bigger on diameter. So on hard soil like this, the concrete pier will reach refusal too soon. But with the steel pipe, we can penetrate better through the hard soil. Okay, now that we have everything ready, we're gonna start installing the pier. So let's take a look at the piers. So this steel pipe, it's interlocking with each other. So the first step is that we have our round bottom. All of this is made of galvanized steel, so it should last at least 100 years. And this round bottom goes here, and we can start pressing the pier. So this is gonna go like this, right? So let's put it inside the hole. Okay, so we have our steel pipe, the first one in the hole. Then we're gonna use our ram to start pushing the pipe down into the soil. Okay, so now we have our ram sitting on top of the pipe, and we're gonna use the weight of the house here on the grade beam to push the pipe down into the bedrock. So let's start. Okay, so all the stroke is out, so we need to lower the ram. Then before we put another section of pipe in there, what we have to do is we're gonna use our steel spacer. So we're gonna remove the ram from the hole, this, and we're just gonna set up our spacer here, and then we can place our ram on top of the spacer. So yeah, all these things are a little heavy, so operating them with one hand is kind of difficult, but it's doable anyway. So let's go. So we have our pier there. We're just gonna make sure that it's aligned to the grade beam. We're just gonna use the hydraulic pump again. So as you can see, we have no pressure at all. So we're just gonna repeat this process. We need to push pipe after pipe until we reach at least 10,000 psi. Now, after our spacer went all the way down, we can use another section of pipe. As I mentioned, they're interlocking, so we just gotta put it in there like this, make sure it goes down, and then we're just gonna put the ram on top of it again. Okay, the stroke is all out, so we're gonna lower the ram, and we have two pipes down into the soil. So let's continue doing this until we reach the 10,000 psi. Okay guys, so we are approximately 6 pipes into the soil, which is about 6 feet. We still have another 6 pipes in there, and then the cylinders. But let's take a look at the pressure on the next one. So we have our 7th pipe in here. We're gonna start pushing it down. We're using our shim as a cushion to avoid the ram and the pressure breaking the concrete footer. So this is a concrete footing. The good thing is this house has really good footings. Now, now take a look at the pressure. We are over. So we are over 5,000. We are around 6,000 psi with just 7 pipes here. So that's the reason we use steel pipe. This type of soil, the concrete pier will probably just reach like 3 to 4 feet deep, which we don't like, because even that it will have 9,000, 10,000 psi, the depth is not sufficient. If we're talking about just 3 to 4 feet deep, it's most likely that eventually over the years, the water and changes of moisture on the ground are going to affect the piers. That will be if we just go with concrete piers on a type of soil like this one. So if we go with a steel pier, we're gonna reach further down compared to the concrete, and that way we can provide a better warranty. What I mean is that if the steel pipe is going about 14 feet deep versus just 5 feet on the concrete, then we know for sure that the steel pier is more secure. Now, this is not the same case on all of the type of soils. Sometimes it takes the same pipe as concrete. There are areas where we have pushed, let's say, 14 pipes and the concrete takes 13 or 14 cylinders, so we have the same depth. So on those areas you can go with concrete knowing that it's gonna last forever, just like the steel pipe. And also on the other hand, the concrete material it will definitely overlast the steel, because the galvanized steel, like I said, is made to last like 100 years, which is crazy a lot, but the concrete being buried underground may last hundreds of years. Now we're pushing the last of the steel pipes, so we have 8 pipes down in total, and take a look. So we have reached the 10,000 psi. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna set up our transition for the concrete. Now here, guys, on the transition is where I would like to point out that this is where we do a difference. A lot of companies will try to be misleading with you and will tell you that they're gonna install hybrid piers, but unfortunately what they do is they just do like 2 or maybe 4 steel pipes and then they transition to concrete. What happens if they do that is that usually at the moment you do the transition to the concrete, because the concrete is bigger, it will just lock in and the pressure will go up, even that it is not going through the active zone. So that's really a problem, because first than anything, they're charging you way more for a hybrid pier when they're just using 4 pipes. The goal of the hybrid pier is just to go with a steel pipe, and then everything you do is just the last cylinder, you transition to concrete, and then you have your concrete top cap. That way you have an entirely pier made of steel, and then just your top of the pier is gonna be concrete. This way you can save some money while still having all of the benefits of the steel. But if you just do like 2 steel pipes and then go with concrete, like I said, the pressure will go up. It's more likely that it won't have passed the active area, and you will still have problems even that you're paying more money. So make sure that if you're buying steel piers, they're gonna go all the way at least 25 feet deep with the steel, and then they just transition to concrete after that. And when a pier is properly done, you're gonna see this. So this pier is finished. We're just gonna have 1 cylinder on top of the transition and the top cap, and that's it. So now we know that each pier is gonna take about 9 feet deep to reach the solid soil or load-bearing strata. And we're just gonna proceed to finish installing all of the piers on the other side of the fence. So hopefully we can finish somewhere around 12. Hey guys, so I was discussing with the guys, and we decided that we're gonna do a dual pier. So we're gonna have one of the piers with merely just steel, and then we're gonna do another pier next to the steel pier with concrete. this way. The concrete pier is not gonna go all the way down like the steel pier. We're gonna see how far they go, but at least we're gonna have twice the support instead of only one column. Most of the weight is gonna be sitting on the steel pier, but that way we're gonna have the support of 2 piers instead of 1. So we're gonna ensure that we don't have any movement after all. By doing this, we can guarantee, like, definitely the house is never gonna move again. Okay guys, so we're gonna start installing the concrete cylinder. So let's see the difference. The first 3 pipes had like 200 psi. So let's see the concrete. This is the first one. Let's see how much pressure it starts with. So this is just the first one, and it already has 2,500 psi. So you can see the big difference versus the steel pipe. Hey guys, so we have 4 cylinders inside the hole. So we're already reaching 7,500 psi, so you can tell the difference. With 4 feet deep with the concrete pier, we already reached 7,500, but the steel pier went 9 feet deep. So let's see the difference. So it went 5 feet deep. We already reached the 10,000 psi. So yeah, the steel pier is twice as deep as the concrete one. So that's the reason the steel pier is better. Okay guys, so that pier is complete, and now let's take a look at all the other piers that we have installed. So right now we're missing just like 3 more piers, and all of the holes have dual piers. As I mentioned, we have the steel pier and we have the concrete pier. So we sold hybrid piers, but because the soil is too hard, even the steel pipe is just going 9 feet deep, then we decided to do dual piers. So we're doing the steel pier and the concrete pier. The concrete pier is just going like 5 to 6 feet deep versus the 9 to 10 feet deep of the steel pier. But by having the 2 pier systems, we're having twice the support. So if the concrete pier ever fails, more weight is gonna go to the steel pier. If the steel pier ever fails, more weight is gonna go to the concrete pier. So by having both, we minimize by a lot all the chances of having more movement down the road. So this is the last hole we have to dig. Wahama is taking a little bit longer because it's two piers in here. So we're gonna have 2 piers here in this corner and 2 piers on that corner. The corners always need to be supported because they're weak spots. So if you don't support a corner, you have more chances of breaking points. So as soon as he finishes, Mika's about to finish with that one. He's gonna move into there, install those piers. And when Carmelo and Mika finish installing those last piers, then we're gonna go ahead and start lifting the house. So as the guys finish installing the piers, we already finished putting or placing the bottle jacks. So we're gonna do that right now in here. We're gonna set up our bottle jack here over the steel pier. Then we will just shim over the concrete pier, remove the bottle jack, and shim the steel pier again. Let's put the bottle jack first. That's it. Our bottle jack is sitting on top of the transition. We have the concrete pier. This is where we're gonna shim, so we're able to remove the bottle jack. But this is how it looks before we lift and level. Now we're still waiting for Carmelo and Wahama to finish the last holes. And as soon as they're done and we set up the bottle jack on those 2 holes, then we're just gonna go inside the house to check the level and start lifting. Now Mika is installing the last of the piers. He's almost done, and it's 11 a.m. so we're gonna go have lunch time, and then we're just gonna resume after somewhere around like 12. Okay guys, so we just had lunch and we have everything ready to lift. So I'm gonna start setting up the level inside the house, and we're gonna start giving the guys the instructions to lift and level the foundation. Okay, now we're going inside the house. We're just gonna have to remove our shoes, and after that I'm just gonna show you how we set up the level. Okay, so we're setting up our zero here. So we're in the center of the house. Okay, and we have our zero. So this is the corner of the house where we are doing the work. You can see it's about 1.7 inches lower. So almost 2 inches low. So all of these areas is where we're gonna be lifting. We have to lift about 1.5 inches. And this is the last area where we're gonna be lifting. All this corner on the outside is where our piers are located. So yeah, we have to lift around 1.5 to 2 inches. So we're gonna start giving the command to the guys. Okay, the guys are now lifting here. We have one pier on this corner and another one on this corner, so it's 2 guys on the same hole. And then Carmelo is right there, and the other 2 guys are around the corner. So they just lift. Let's see how much it went up right now. We just pump each bottle jack about 20 times. So let's see the level now. Okay, so we can do maybe another 10. Hay que darle 10 más, Carmelo, Guajama. So we lift another 15 pumps on the bottle jacks. Now we have 0. Okay, now it looks like we're finished lifting, and let's take a look at the final elevations. We're just confirming it's gonna be level now. So we have our 0 right on the center of the house. Sorry, I'm moving the cord, so that's why it changes. But we're gonna set up the 0 here. That's it, and let's verify. Just making sure it's 0 here. We want to make sure that the center is our 0. I don't know why it's changing this much. Okay, so we're done lifting. Right now we're just gonna take the final elevations and confirm the house is level. So we're gonna go ahead over there and verify that our measurements are somewhere around 0 and 0.2. So this was about 2 inches low, and now it's only 0.1 higher. So we had an 1/8 inch higher than before, than the 0. Then here was like 1.7 low, and now we have 0.2, 0.1 higher. So the level looking perfect. Now let's take a look inside the kitchen. So right inside the kitchen we have 0. Then we're gonna check this side by the pantry. Here is the last hole that we do. Let's see how good our level is here. So we have 0.2. So yeah, there you can see the big difference. Before lifting we had almost 2 inches low. Right now it's everything within 0, 0.1. So the level is perfect now. So there's a small crack in there. I don't recall if it was already there, but I'm gonna ask the homeowner. Other than that, I don't think we have any other damage, and the tile didn't crack either, so it all looks good. Okay guys, so we're done with the lifting. The guys are shimming the piers. I already showed the homeowner the new elevations and the results. We barely got any damage, just a new crack that I show you. But every time we explain the homeowners that having new cracks may happen. It's just normal because we're moving the foundation, so that shifts the framing and that creates sometimes some cracks around the house. But everything else is working perfectly. The back door is working perfectly. There was like a big gap in there and light was coming through that. Now after we lift, the door is perfectly straight, aligned, and no light is coming through anywhere, and it works amazing, like if it were brand new. So now I'm just going to show you how the guys are shimming the piers, and then we're just gonna start covering everything up and finish the work. So Moises just start cleaning up all of our tools, putting the tarp back into their bags so we can start loading up the trucks. The guys already shimmed a lot of the piers. Julio is doing that in here. You can see there the bottle jacks is still in there. So as they cover the holes, let's see if we can see any shim pier in here. Sorry, Mika. Okay, so there you can see how it looks when it's shimmed. Now let's take a look at this one too. Carmelo just finished shimming the pier. So let's go inside the hole. So here you can see this is the steel pipe and this is the concrete pier. Then we have our concrete spacers, our 2 cylinders to shim, and then our steel shims. Remember, the steel shims are to avoid the concrete from cracking by being in contact against each other. Remember, these piers, they have around 10,000 psi. So if you have the concrete over concrete, it's very likely that it will crack. So the steel shims prevent that from happening. Now that we know how it looks, the house is level, so we're just gonna start covering everything up. So we are almost done. We're just doing the final touch-ups. We're just finishing loading up the trucks, and we're just finishing also with the grading. Let's take a look. So we're just like finishing up with the grading of the soil. As usual, we always leave the dirt higher than it was before to help the water drain away from the foundation. In here we still have a big slope, and the homeowner will need to install the extensions on the gutters, which we already made him aware of that. So probably another 15 minutes and we'll be done. And that's it, guys, we are done. We finished with the grading, everything is complete, the house is fully level, and now we're just gonna finish picking up everything on the trucks and go home. Okay, that's it, guys. We are fully finished with this job. Everything is ready. The homeowner is very satisfied, and then we're just ready to go home. Now we're ready for the next repair. Stay tuned. Follow us on all our social media so you can learn everything you need to know about foundation work.